First, though, our top story. It was a fiery debate last night as the nominees sparred on national security and relationships with the Muslim community. Watch.
Donald has consistently insulted Muslims abroad, Muslims at home, when we need to be cooperating with Muslim nations and with the American Muslim community. They need to have close working cooperation with law enforcement in these communities, not be alienated and pushed away.
We've been working with them for many years. And we have the greatest mess anyone's ever seen. You look at the Middle East, it's a total mess. Under your direction to a large extent. See, you're telling the enemy everything you want to do. No wonder you've been fighting ISIS your entire adult life.
I have put forth a plan to defeat ISIS. It does involve going after them online. We're hoping that within the year we'll be able to push ISIS out of Iraq.
I want to bring in Ambassador John Bolton right now. He is former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations and a Fox News contributor. Also with us is Saba Ahmed. She is the president of the Republican Muslim Coalition, and Sajid Tarar, president of American Muslims for Trump and a businessman. Good to see you all. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Ambassador Bolton, I'll kick it off with you. Did Donald Trump make his case as the best candidate on national security last night?
Well,
what was your reaction?
I think he certainly laid out the differences between himself and Secretary Clinton. And I think this is true on the domestic side as well as the international side, that she is the candidate of the status quo. She is the candidate who will continue Barack Obama's policies. And if that's what you want, then by all means vote for it. But if you want a different policy, I think he's got it. And in that sense, I think he accomplished his most important mission, which is to explain what her problem is, which is that she's running for Obama's third term. I don't think there was enough discussion on national security. Right. I never think there is. Hopefully there'll be more in the second and third debates.
No, but there wasn't. There wasn't enough discussion on national security. There was some discussion about ISIS. Saba, what's your take on the nominees' discussion with regard to relations with the Muslim community?
I think it was great to see Donald Trump talking about national security, defense. I thought it was not very nice of Hillary Clinton to bring up consistently insulting Muslims. I think Donald Trump has reached out to the Muslim American community, and he's doing a great job. And we do look forward to working with him and look forward to seeing him in the White House.
So as a Muslim, he has not offended you in any way?
No, I mean, he had initially talked about a Muslim ban, but I think he's toned down his anti-Muslim rhetoric quite a bit, and he realized that it's quite unconstitutional and illegal to do religious discrimination. His national security policies targeting people coming into the country from state sponsors of terrorism are very much in line with policies that Congress has already enacted.
Right.
And if he strengthens them, it's all the better for our country.
Because, Sajid, whether you're Muslim, Catholic, Jewish, whatever you are, we all do not want the Islamic extremists killing us.
Exactly.
Of course. Matter of fact, his foreign policy speech a few months back, America first, safety of America, I think I wanted to congratulate him and the Republicans. It's a good news. I think he's the winner. He has done very well, especially mentioning the 200 admirals and the generals behind him. That was very well. And not only this, he stood as a president. He looked presidential. I'm very pleased that he brought it up, Iran's issue, especially cash dealing, $1.5 billion going to Iran and making him a big power in the Middle East. And the last jab he threw up there of 800 people, those supposed to be deported, and they got the citizenship. I think it was fabulous, and congratulations to him and Republicans, and I'm very proud of him.
Interesting, because it was Hillary Clinton that really tried to undermine him on this issue.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course, CNN is going panic. I mean, to be honest with you, I have been watching different news outlets, but CNN the worst. And to be honest with you, America is watching how biased they are. Every single poll, he's ahead of them, but the CNN is in denial. And they are going down big time.
Wow, CNN is in denial, Sajid just said.
Ambassador Bolton, if I may, do you think that on this issue of NATO and of Trump's sometimes, shall we say, rather temporizing language on Russia and Vladimir Putin in particular, Hillary Clinton went after him on that. She talked about invoking Article 5 and the relationship with NATO allies. This worries a lot of Republicans, as you know, what he says about he seems to have a much more favorable view of Vladimir Putin than most Republicans do. Do you think he's laid that to rest, or do you think there's still doubts about that?
I don't think he has a more favorable view of Russian policy. He said Putin was a strong leader, and there's no doubt about that, and an effective leader for Russia's interest, which happened to be contrary to ours in most instances. On NATO, what he has done, I think, is bring home a debate that everybody in the foreign policy establishment knows is real, that NATO's decision-making is often sclerotic, and that for many years our allies have not been spending the percentage of GNP that they themselves pledged to spend, 2%, on their defense. Now, he's made it very clear he wants to strengthen NATO, but there are got to be things done to shake up the alliance, because the threat we face precisely from Vladimir Putin in Eastern and Central Europe is growing daily, and they know it,
You
too.
don't think the connections that he seems to have with Putin, the fact that, you know, General Michael Flynn seems to have a very close relationship with the Russian media, with the Russian establishment. You don't think the things he said, like when he said he wouldn't necessarily defend a country if it was invaded, a NATO country if it was invaded by Russia, some of the things he said making a moral equivalence between what Vladimir Putin does with what the United States does. We kill people, he said in America, when asked about some of the things that some journalists who've disappeared and some opposition critics of Vladimir Putin's. None of that worries you?
I think if you look at what he has said overall about American foreign policy, he's made it clear that a central issue for him is rebuilding America's military, and that means in particular America's military capabilities on the European frontier. So from that perspective, if we get a challenge from Vladimir Putin, I think that Trump's capable of opposing it. I think it's a mistake for people to believe that Putin favors Trump. I think, in fact, given the choice, he'd favor Hillary. He knows her. She's weak. She's indecisive. And if I were a Russian leader like Putin, that's the kind of American president I would want.
Why doesn't Trump say that, then?
I don't know, but that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Well, she's a career politician. She's a career politician, and she's going to say whatever it takes to win the White House. But I think, you know, Trump sees through that, and his foreign policies are strong, and we need a good, strong leader in the White House to restore our American leadership around the world.
And Saba, do you think that he's resonating with women?
I think he's picking up quite a bit of married women, and generally across the board. Hillary Clinton has had a lead. She is the first woman presidential candidate, but I think at the same time Donald Trump is picking up quite a bit of momentum, and he will definitely win the White House this November.
Wow. All right, we will leave it there. Ambassador John Bolton, Saba Ahmed, and Sajid Tarar, great to have you all on the program.